Somebody wants to kill John Bolton. This is a little bit of a surprise to me. It's like me discovering somebody wants to kill Bill Kristol. And I'm like, why would somebody want to kill Bill Kristol? The guy is such a dullard that that the idea that he provokes someone to such a degree that they want to go after him is a little bit of a puzzlement. Now, if you listen to sometimes John Bolton talk, I think he likes to sound like he's a very scary character. In fact, I once heard him talking recently. He was talking about elections, and he's like, well, I've been involved in fixing a lot of elections in foreign countries. And so I think John Bolton likes to see himself as some kind of a Machiavellian character who is ruthlessly pursuing the interests of the United States, involved in all kinds of nefarious dealings abroad, recognizes that he has to be very tough in the protection of U.S. interests. And this is the neocon. Well, to some degree, it's a charade. This is not to say that Bolton doesn't serve as he did, National Security Advisor, and evidently this assassination plot has to do with the killing of Soleimani. Remember the Iranian general Soleimani wiped out in a drone strike at Baghdad's international airport. Now, the decision of this didn't come from Bolton. I'm pretty sure Bolton would have advocated for it. So in that sense, Bolton is someone who would want to see Soleimani removed. But it was Trump who made the decision. And this occurred in 2020, January of 2020. And evidently when that happened, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard put out a kind of a fatwa, if you will, on Bolton. Now, this wasn't a fatwa in the same way that the fatwa was put out on Rushdie, because the Iranians didn't just say, hey, listen, we're just calling on Muslims everywhere to sort of take up the cause, and if you happen to see Bolton, kind of pull out your pocket knife and charge at him because there's some money to be made. No, in this case, what they did was they hired a guy named Shahram Poursavi to carry out this hit. Now, he was paid to do it. Apparently, the Iranians put a few $100,000 into this, but it didn't work. The guy was caught. He was arrested. The plot must have been somehow revealed before it was even attempted. But interestingly, although this has all occurred and the guy has been captured and he has been indicted, the Biden administration said nothing about it. They concealed all of this. And the reason for the concealment, now finally they finally disclosed the indictment. And so some of the details have now been reported. But a number of people who are military analysts have been saying, here's Simone Ledeen, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, and this person tells the New York Post, if they had this level of information for such a long time and didn't indict for diplomatic reasons, you know why? They're protecting the Iranian regime. I mean, there's no other way of looking at it. So what's going on here is that the Biden administration wants to conclude the Iran deal with Iran. In fact, the State Department has been basically saying this is the time to do it. Of course, they claim it's a way to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon, but the deal itself is so bad that it allows Iran to continue to make advancements up to the point of being able to build the weapon, short of just actually building the weapon. It's kind of like having all the know-how, collecting all the materials, and just not doing the final assembly because of the deal. And then, of course, we don't even know if Iran would abide by the deal. But even if you abided by the deal, it really doesn't stop you from getting a weapon. It just gets you to the point where you're ready to put it all together and you agree to hold off while the deal is in place. Of course, you can always then repudiate the deal and build the weapon. One of the military analysts says that the problem here is not actually the Biden DOJ. We've blasted the Biden DOJ and Merrick Garland for many other offenses. But evidently in this case, the problem is coming from the NSC and from the State Department. In other words, you can see that the very fact that the NSC and the State Department have been delaying for, quote, diplomatic reasons, this indictment is quite simply because they are in the process of trying to push the Iran deal through. And in the duration of doing that, of course, once the deal is concluded, then they don't mind bringing the indictment because the deal has in effect been done. But they're worried about indicting this guy, angering the Iranians. The Iranians begin to pull away from the deal. And so this is how the Biden administration conceals and camouflages what's going on with regard to this assassination plot. In a way, they're also fooling the American public. They're saying to the American public, Iran is really not a terrorist state. They don't do assassinations of American political figures. They're somebody that we can do business with.